This is the beginning of it all. Good morning, good evening, good day, hi. My name is Roskand. This is going to be the first of my Halloween Horrors test series of movie reviews of sorts. All month long, I will be reviewing classic horror films that, as a film nerd, I've missed. Kind of let a few things slip through the cracks. So, this is going to be sort of a test. Yeah, you could call it that. After this month, I'll be reviewing a bunch more movies that are undoubted classics. Things that everyone should have seen if they love movies, and as a lover of movies, it is absolutely shameful I've missed. So, first up, John Carpenter's 1978 classic, Halloween. In Halloween, escaped asylum patient Michael Myers returns to his hometown of Haddonfield, Illinois, to terrorize and murder local teen Laurie Strode and her friends. That's it. That's all this movie's about. And that's pretty great. I wasn't really expecting something that is so widely revered to be so simple. As the movie kind of gets further into the plot and you see what it's setting up over the course of the film, there's shockingly little that it gives you to work with. And it seems that by keeping it simple with the premise, Halloween can deliver really, really genuine moments of tension and really terrifying moments of fear, genuine scares. Halloween begins with an excellently executed point of view shot from the perspective of young Michael Myers as he murders his sister in cold blood. 15 years before the events of the bulk of the movie take place, you really get a sense of the randomness of violence that comes from this kid that really enhances, exactly how terrifying what is about to happen is going to be. And that's not the only really well executed long shot in the film as well. John Carpenter seems to use a combination of these really long Steadicam takes from either the perspective of Michael or by keeping Michael in the foreground to make the sense of dread and the sense of tension feel far more inescapable and far more foreboding than it would otherwise. If we have more distance from Michael, then we feel a lot safer. But by having that really intimate perspective and by being really stuck in there with him as he goes through these horrible acts, or even before, as it seems like he might be planning them, feels really, really uncomfortable and unsettling. And John Carpenter takes several elements of the Halloween scenario to really ratchet up the tension as well. You are left with the babysitters off in the home alone, for example. There's not too much of a safety net for them or anyone really close by except for other babysitters in the neighborhood. There's even a point where, because of the suburban environment, Laurie runs to a neighbor to get help as Michael has murdered several of her friends and is coming after her finally. And instead of finding any help at all...
Hello, help me! Here, please help me! Please! Can't you hear me? Oh, God! Oh!
They don't even come to the door for her. That really is what makes a really good horror movie versus just your standard run-of-the-mill horror film as well. Not just the sense of danger, but the fact that you get an element of tension from everything these characters go through, whether it's related to the slasher in the neighborhood or not. It really, really has an effect that, had me sitting up and starting to cringe a little bit as I was really hoping that there would be some sense of release or safety or something. Luckily, John Carpenter knows when to give you just enough time to breathe over the course of the film so that you're not just stuck with this sense of foreboding and dread the entire time. There are a couple moments where you have an opportunity to see the light at the end of the tunnel, so to speak. And without that sense of hope, it can get a little heavy. I don't know how many times you've found all of your friends, murdered in the house across the street, but I can only imagine that wouldn't be very fun to deal with. Those moments of release are really important as well, because it also enables the story to increase the stakes and the potential for the satisfyingly terrifying conclusion at the end of the film to take place. Obviously, not everyone makes it out alive, but the way the film ends does leave you with a sense of, I don't want to say comfort, but you can feel safe for now. All we're left with is Michael seeming to just piss off for the time being. Now, while I'm definitely singing a bunch of graces about this classic horror film, it's not without its own issues. It's definitely a 40-year-old movie. There's a couple, for example, there's at least one music cue in particular that just feels super cheesy. The line delivery has a little bit of that old school, yeah, we're in a movie, see?
I have to get my hair done at 5, and the dance is at 8. I'll be totally wiped out.
I don't think you have enough to do tomorrow.
Totally.
And that kind of does the movie a disservice. Everyone that isn't Laurie herself kind of sounds the same, and they kind of all act the same also, which leads me into another, small issue I have with this movie, which is that there's not really too much distinction between the different characters that exist. I actually can't even remember anyone's names except for Laurie Strode, and that might be because of the Halloween trailers for the new one. I don't know. All I know is the dad cop actually made a bigger impression on me as a character than any of the other teenagers involved. And that was mostly because he somehow can't smell weed in a freshly hotboxed car.
Just be natural. There he is. Just be natural, boy.
Hi, Annie. Laurie.
Hi, Dad.
I don't know why she thought it was a good idea to roll those windows down, and why did she stop? Who knows? Sometimes you just can't help but question the logic that these horror movie characters have in their lives. Oh, suddenly we can't smell weed in the car. Yeah, that makes sense. Did she just stab him in the eye with a hanger? Okay, movie. It's definitely a 40-year-old movie with its own 40-year-old weirdness. These minor shortcomings, however, don't detract from the horror in the film. If it had done too much to give these characters, more definable traits, or to give more of a compelling, character-driven storyline to the whole thing, it could easily lean into just bloat and not deliver on what it needed to, which is the scares and the tension. By keeping it just to those things, and its unforgettable score, of course, Halloween manages to cement itself as a classic and a horror standard without a doubt. Overall, I think I'd give Halloween a 17 out of 20. Sweet. Thanks for watching, guys. Keep an eye on the channel for more movie reviews, games, live streams, and other stuff. Feel free to comment below on, what you think about Halloween or any other movies that you think I need to review moving forward. Yeah, with that, I'm going to go do something else. Do stuff, make stuff. Have fun, guys.